In December, ex-CIA Director John Brennan said it was arrogant to believe there are no other forms of life other than the ones on Earth.
And there's one thing we're against in the CIA, and that's arrogance. Is the world actually going mad now? Like, UFOs are real and the Pentagon admits it. We've all been locked in our homes. What's going on?
In the language of the US Department of Defense, these are unidentified aerial phenomena. Videos which add fuel to the belief of some that we are not alone.
Like, if you break it down, it's either technology that's human that we don't understand. That's a possibility, that there are sort of agencies within government that create tech. But the fact is if you're me, and I am, you'll have been following stuff like this. Like, when I was 16 years old, I was reading all things like, you know, Gods and Spacemen by Eric von Daniken, and like listening to Bob Lazar and Bob Exler, and all former workers from Area 51 and secret government agencies that they'd seen metals and energy systems that were extraterrestrial and that it would ultimately be revealed. So if you've been following that narrative for, wow, Jesus, 3 decades, then you see this as the moment where the government finally admit, we've been dealing with this for years. All those apocryphal, anecdotal, are they true or not stories that Ronald Reagan apparently leaned over to Spielberg at a special White House screening of E.T. and went, we're the only people in this room who know how real this is. There's no one in the room, Ronnie. Oh, damn Nancy!
In a statement, the Department of Defense said it was releasing the videos in order to clear up any misconceptions by the public on whether or not the footage that's been circulating was real or whether or not there is more to the videos. The aerial phenomena observed in these videos, they say, remain characterized as unidentified.
Because what I believe, I mean, it's sort of practical and common sense in a way that in a limitless universe there being consciousness will materialize itself multiple times. I mean, even on this planet, through 2 evolutionary strata, there is the human form of consciousness and expression, and various other evolutionary branches, but notably, are they called cephalopods? Like, you know, octopi, that have a totally different expression of consciousness and intelligence. So across the limitlessness of space, it's beyond plausible, beyond likely, probable that there are different forms of intelligence. Now we're only discussing whether or not they interact with human beings and the levels of secrecy that may surround these subjects.
In night vision video from a Navy destroyer, a mysterious flying triangle above the deck of the ship.
Having a Navy destroyer really undermines the idea of defence. We even call it defence. This is our defence budget. What are you spending it on? Destroyers, I mean protectors, conservers.
The Pentagon confirming the images obtained by documentary filmmaker Jeremy Corbell were taken by Navy personnel.
I like that the American footage is a little bit mysterious. There's a flying Toblerone pyramid in the sky. The British ones, there are some spaceships. Don't take the joy out of it. There's spaceships.
The first incident was filmed off the California coast in 2004, an oval shape hovering. And in the words of the Navy pilot who recorded this, not behaving by the normal laws of physics.
Even not behaving by the normal laws of physics can have the joy drained out of it by particular sections of the news media. I suppose the laws of physics are all very particular to our evolutionary lines, our understanding of space and time, and it's completely possible that things that we consider to be absolute, like space and time, are actually subjective experiences only relevant to people with, or beings with our limited senses and our limited capacity for knowledge. It's entirely possible and plausible that there are different dimensions of being. It all sort of sounds a bit wacky, but now the Pentagon have admitted it, we're off the hook, baby. We can all start talking about it. Why have these things, extraterrestrial beings, collectively existed in culture, adapting to the circumstances and context as time has gone on, but always been present, like in all mythologies, in countries of Africa, in Iceland, in Celtic myth, little beings, fairies, elves, otherworldly creatures. Of course, these could be expressions of psychic phenomena and sort of shared cultural metaphor, but they could also be kind of literal, particularly when you get into areas like Egypt, where you feel like there's so much sort of extraordinary cultural paraphernalia, interesting language, peculiar geometry, awareness of astronomy, that people have been, you know, like Graham Hancock, have been ridiculed for bringing up and bringing to attention for time, you know. I feel like even, and this is obviously not an original theory, I've mentioned Eric von Daniken already, that when scripture is describing extraterrestrial phenomena. Like, you know, when you hear Ezekiel's description of a chariot of fire, a ball of light moving across the sky, it doesn't seem that distinct from what we're witnessing and now have had verified at the highest levels of government authority as, you know, being true. I've used the word verified. There's not that much difference. It excites me, I suppose, because at this time, during this peculiar pandemic, we're all revising what reality is. There's this appetite on one hand to return to normal. Let's just get back to normal. And that's perfectly understandable for people that have been locked up and suffering and have lost loved ones or suffered economically. But I feel from my ivory tower that we should be aspiring to something beyond normal, a fairer, more just, more beautiful, harmonious society that's an expression of our real values. And that includes alignment with nature, and surely it means transcending superficial barriers. Sometimes I speculate what would happen. In fact, I use this exercise in my own mind. That's where I do most of my good work. Like a little while ago, what would happen if a UFO picked up a person from this country, a person of that race, people of this form of identification, and sort of took them off on a spaceship? You wouldn't be going, I ain't talking to you, you like Donald Trump, or you can fuck off, I'm unhappy about the way you identify. You just go, this is weird, isn't it, that we've been plucked off of our planet and we're now in a spaceship? Well, now the Pentagon agrees that that could happen, because the fact is there are other forms of life, there are other expressions of consciousness. Just like the world of psychedelia is bringing to people's attention the possibility that reality is something that warps and changes and responds to the observer, something that's, you know, been observed in quantum physics, and I'm not going to pretend to understand that, because I know that if you think you understand it, then you really haven't. That's one of the great maxims of that field, and I know many people try to warp that idea. What I'm saying is that there are more things on heaven and earth than dreamed of in your philosophy, Horatio. We're on the precipice of understanding just how little we know. Every time we reach an apparent periphery through scientific discovery, we look over the edge and discover that we knew nothing. Every new realm of discovery, we're down into the, you know, world of Max Planck and all of the baffling world of subparticular miracle. This is just another frontier. We'll never, with the limitations of human consciousness, understand the true nature of reality, because it's beyond it's beyond our capacity to understand it. If there are extraterrestrials, if it's been released at this time because we're living in this odd time of division, with a great reset, peculiar new ideas emerging, just things feeling sort of baffling and catalytic, then I suppose the possibility for reorganising society according to an entirely new vision also exists. As David Graeber said, the fact is we made it this way and we can change it if we want to. And the revelation of extraterrestrial life, or at least extreme technologies that are not part of our understood telos of, you know, aeronautical tech, these are revealing phenomena.
Oh, that's them, is it? That is on us, dude. Well, if there's another thing, have a look on the
In 2015, pilots flying off the east coast of America spotted this.
They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude.
It's nice that they're just chatting about it. Look at that thing, dude. And again, there are accounts of World War I and II, pilots seeing stuff in their sort of great battles in the sky. You know, this is something that's been with us for a long, long time. Here are a few questions to contemplate. Why is it being revealed now? And why was it always previously concealed? I once heard, what's his name, Timothy Good, a big sort of ufologist, say on a sort of, it was a late night talk show, because I used to be a geek about this stuff. Like, I heard the sort of the radio talk show had started off very cynical, but as Timothy Good, in his reasonable, rational, logical way, explained what he'd seen, what he'd done, the research he'd done, talked about the nature of these gravity-defying propulsion systems that worked on the inversion. I mean, it was just all so sort of techie and nerdy, not like, woohoo, they're a lizard people. It was like legit gear. I heard like the radio host go from sort of talking to him like he was speaking slowly to a stupid person. The radio host sort of went, I suppose if this is true, then we'll have to completely reevaluate the entire way that we see reality and organise our political power structures. And Timothy Good just went, yes, right, you know, in his sort of dispatching reality rationally way. And this is why it might have been previously concealed, because how can that great philosophy and technique of the powerful, divide and conquer, continue to abide when the evident truth that we are a small village in limitless space with so much more in common than divides us, and to create artificial separations on the basis of culture, appearance, religion, history, biology, it's all absolute nonsense. With ants and birds and plants, like the saints have always done, should be like, wow, we're all one, I love this thing, wow, cool, what an amazing world. We should be enjoying the great miracle of oneness. And a revelation of this nature helps us to dispense with the illusion of separation and recognize our wholeness, our oneness. Of course, I'm sure there's ways that we could go, I like these extraterrestrials, I don't like these ones. There's ways that we could turn it into some divisive thing, but for now, let's enjoy the possibility that this could be a discovery that leads to unity.
Some of the objects go beyond just flying in the sky. One shows a spherical object dipping into the ocean, similar to an incident in Puerto Rico, where an object was tracked buzzing an airport, then flying into the water, popping back out before appearing to split into two and disappearing.
I mean, that's a bit mental, isn't it? And if this is happening in 2015, why have we not been more clear and honest and open about it in the past? Look, we could spend all day arguing about whether it would be better to vote for a politician whose views are here and a politician whose views are here. Or we could just discuss, I've just seen a fucking spaceship dip into the sea and then come out as two spaceships. No, hold on, but what are your views on tax reform?
Racing across the surface of the ocean, something that it took some skill to capture.
And maybe that unconscious sense of glee is not just the mastery of the technical machinery, but a kind of sense of true awe, the kind of awe you sometimes feel in a basilica in Rome, specifically St. Peter's, or you sometimes might experience at a football match, or when you see a new lush green vista. That's also at a football match, actually. But nonetheless, I'm saying that there is an awe in life. We've been bludgeoned, deadened into conformist, conditioned experiences, banal, trivial exchanges. We're in the middle of the fucking Milky Way. Mysteries are all about us. The glory of our pets and of creatures and of one another. The miracle of our life, the miracle of our being. All there, just at the end of our senses, at the end of our bodies.
Former CIA Director R. James Woolsey said he knew of a case where a plane was paused in midair.
A friend of mine was able to have his aircraft stop at 40,000 feet or so and not continue operating as a normal aircraft.
Look at him trying to sort of keep it in sort of technical language. Some alien creature, like sort of in a Christ-like way, suspended a plane in mid-air, like Vishnu. He was able to have it not operate in a normal way. Like all of us, you know, regardless of how embedded we've become in technocratic language and the necessary conditioning that a civilization inflicts upon you or endows you with, still have the capacity in us for this tremendous awe when confronted with the simple truth that this tiny dome of our reality can be punctured at any point by other realities, by deeper truths.
Video from that encounter and two other incidents were officially released by the Pentagon last year.
Who's revealing these UFOs? Matthew McConaughey?
And former intelligence chief John Ratcliffe says officials have been tracking technology beyond our capabilities.
We're talking about objects picked up by satellite imagery that are difficult to explain.
Think for a moment how people have been derided and ridiculed for believing in UFOs. Oh, one of them crackpots, get your aluminium hat on, you conspiracy theorist. Well, now the Pentagon's like, well, actually, we don't know what they are. And Air Force pilots can audibly be heard going, oh my God! Oh, sweet Jesus, reality is not what I thought it was. Well, this shows us that any idea that affects the ability of powerful interests to continue to pursue their aims will be suppressed. So who knows what other conspiracies, as they are currently called, may be revealed to be true. Perhaps you know more than people give you credit for. Perhaps more will be revealed. In fact, we know more will be revealed. Truth, the truth is out there and it will ultimately be revealed. So if you are a person that's been derided as a conspiracy nut, you know, just wait. Sooner or later, the Pentagon might have to go, yeah, sorry, we did do that. Sorry, it was convenient at the time. It was wrong, though. We should clear that up.
Like another incident off the coast of California in 2004 when a fighter squadron encountered an object that seemed to defy gravity.
What do you think it is?
I honestly don't know. I don't think that we have developed that technology. I don't think we developed it on this planet.
If it's beyond our technology, if it defies explanation, what we're dealing with is a portion of reality that's beyond our understanding, an intelligence that's beyond our ability to conceive of it. These are almost sort of definitions of the miraculous. Once this would have been the realm of the spiritual, and perhaps our time will be somehow metastasized, then actualized, when the language of science and the language of spirituality coalesce, when we begin to realize here in the material plane we can organize through our own consciousness, through things beyond our understanding, different systems. Think about, on the most mundane level, how you're continually told, yeah, but that's not possible, yeah, you can't do that, it's always been this way. Well, all that's going to get sort of swept off of the table, sort of like if you did that tablecloth trick badly, you know, it's all going to just fall onto the floor. And I suppose an encounter with an extraterrestrial transcendent being, or the acknowledgement that there are sort of minds and consciousness and intelligences at work that are beyond us, engenders a kind of humility. What do we really know? Who are we really? Why are we going off into pirouettes of mad speculation only to declare war on people for being slightly different when there is a wonderful miracle all around us? The fact that this is being revealed now, I'm sure, is part of a distraction in order to sort of create further systems of control. But what you can't ignore is that in this revelation is enough material to suggest to you that new worlds, indeed new universes, are possible and are all around us. If you enjoyed that video, please like and subscribe. Maybe check out my side channel, Awakening with Russell Brand, to prepare your head for more revelations. Please sign up to my mailing list at russellbrand.com, so in case we ever lose the ability to communicate directly with you, we can reach out to you in a more intimate way. Also comment, because we read the comments, and sometimes we do comment episodes, and sometimes I go on there and comment back, and I love reading them. Even the very hurtful insults. Thank you.